All right, everybody, welcome back. And we are here today on Memorial Day,
Memorial Day.
May 26th, 2025. I'm Casey.
I'm Kevin.
And we got a few topics to talk about, especially Memorial Day. Kevin's did a little research on that and how it all began, and we're going to let him kick it off.
First, like to shout out to Wiley's Western Store in
got him
beautiful downtown Coffin, Texas. Finally found a straw hat that wasn't shaped, so I got to go in there and let the dude shape it like I wanted it. So this is a original 1980s look, which I still like. So anyway, so shout out to those guys. If you're ever in Coffin, Texas, swing by. Plenty of Western wear, boots, jeans, hats, whatever you need.
And I got to thank the Mexican flea market for mine.
There you go. Find whatever you want there.
Seagoville, Texas.
Yeah. Anyway, Memorial Day. Most people, that's kind of like the unofficial start of summer for a lot of people. You know, kids are getting out of school, all that kind of stuff, and 3-day weekend for working people. So they barbecue, they do all that kind of stuff. But most people know it's a holiday to honor all the fallen veterans. But I got to wondering the other day where this thing start at? How long ago has it been going on and all that? Well, I looked it all up. It's actually started 3 years after the Civil War. And it was enacted to a man named General John Logan of the it was the Grand Army of the Republic, but it was set up to honor the Union soldiers who died in the Civil War. Well, that happened. So in 1968, Congress changed its observance to the last Monday in May. And in 1971, they standardized the name to Memorial Day. So a lot of people.
What year was that?
1971. It standardized the name to Memorial Day. But it started out as Decoration Day. And that was basically so people could go and, clean headstones, put flowers on graves, that kind of stuff, decorating the graves and all that. And I know Robin, my wife.
Was that just for soldiers or was that for everybody? Decorating
graves? It was meant for the soldiers.
Okay.
But I think over the years it might have blossomed into something else. I don't know, but that's what it was started for. I know my wife, back when she was a kid, they used to go to Arkansas and they had that Decoration Day. That's what they still called it that. And that's what they did. They went to the cemetery and decorated the graves and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, in 71, it was standardized. The name was standardized to Memorial Day, and it was in honor of all vets, any fallen soldiers. Not all vets, but all fallen vets. So anyway, that's kind of how that whole deal got started. But anyway, if you're out there barbecuing or whatever, have yourself a good time and think about the guys that actually went out and
gave the
ultimately sacrificed
and those
life, and those that are
served.
Yeah, those that have served and but the ones that died on the battlefield or in combat, wherever they were in service of this country, they're the ones who allow the freedom for us to go have them barbecues and all that kind of stuff. So keep that on your mind.
All you left-wing nut jobs out there too, you need to be getting on your knees and thanking God for those people, because you couldn't spout out the crap you're spouting out right now if they didn't. So little tip for the left here.
Also,
wait a minute, let me tell the story. We broke into Pete Rose's house. Never seen. We got out of there with one of the balls that he signed. Kevin drove the car. I broke in and stole it. So, signed Pete Rose ball.
Yeah.
We're going to go with that story. I like that story.
Well, might as well.
Where do they live?
I don't even know.
I don't either. So, anyway, got us a Pete Rose baseball. Go ahead,
might not even been Pete's house. Might just got lucky and found a ball in there.
We might have been robbing somebody's house and just found it.
Oh, anyway, he had a Stevie Ray Vaughan poster hanging in his house. So we grabbed
that.
Why not? But anyway, we picked these things up this weekend, and we hadn't really come to a conclusion on what we're going to do with that. But I don't know. One of these days, we may have some kind of little auction
Yeah.
or some kind of something to
He's-
figure out how to.
He's definitely going into the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
man, just passed away recently.
That sucks.
Going to be in the Hall of Fame.
That sucks. He
Yeah,
couldn't be in there until he died. That's just stupid.
Well, that was his. Well, him and the other guy, Shoeless Joe Jackson, he's eligible for the Hall of Fame too. He was
He
the one
died.
that. Yeah, you remember? Well, he died a long time ago.
Oh,
You remember
okay.
the one, the movie, the Field of Dreams?
Mm-hmm. That was about him.
Well, the guys that came from out of the cornfield, yeah, those were the guys that were accused of throwing the whatever year it was, early 1900s.
Yeah.
They threw the series to supposedly, and then they were banned from baseball. But Shoeless Joe Jackson was one of them. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame too as well. But have to look for somebody who has a Shoeless Joe baseball and break into their house maybe or something.
Hey,
I'll drive.
Is the Texas Rangers playing now? What's their season?
They're playing. They're
sucking,
decent.
right? They're
No. I don't know. I heard the other day, and I think somebody. I was asking somebody about it. Oh, there's a guy I was riding in a truck with, and he had a bobblehead Ranger guy, and he's like, "Yeah, they're doing all right. Their pitching's good, but I don't think.
Daryl
I think it's kind of early.
Daryl could comment down there for us on this one. Let us know how they're doing because he keeps up with them.
They're the boys of summer, so they hadn't. I mean, like they're just coming into the meat of the season now.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if we're first place, second place, third place. I don't know, but I think we got a decent team. But man, I would just like to get over that World Series hangover. Man, we were World Series and then we bombed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like time to.
I went to a game on the bomb one.
Did you?
Yeah.
I went
sat out in the freaking heat. They didn't shut the top, and I sat out there and cooked.
Did you?
Yes.
I went last year. First time I've been to a ball game in Globe Life. I went to.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I went to Monster Truck.
Oh yeah.
Went out there for that one.
Take a lot of money if you want something to drink.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's they're killing you at these ballparks,
Yes,
football fields, and all that stuff. So, anywho,
Pete Rose, be thinking about it. What else you got, Kevin? What's next on the agenda?
the big beautiful bill.
The big beautiful bill, and it is quite lovely.
Yes, largest tax cut in history. Now these the 2017 tax cuts that Trump
17.
set out or passed or
He
whatever.
passed, he made them permanent. Right?
They're permanent now. All right, and
Protects Medicaid for Americans by removing 1.4 million illegals that are getting Medicaid.
so 1.4 million people that are getting Medicaid that should not be.
Don't
getting
even live here.
Right.
That's stupid.
And the border security is a permanent thing too. They're money in there for the wall, the it said river,
Yeah, those buoys.
yeah, buoys, all that kind of stuff.
Those ain't
All that's
buoys.
in there.
You remember that joke? Those 8 buoys.
When you
All
said it, I
right.
thought that. Yeah.
And I got one in taxpayer funded sex changes for minors, which is
Who would have ever thought we'd get to that point?
I don't know. Why
do you have to come up with a law to ban that?
You need a law to
Ban it.
imprison the people who do it.
Exactly.
Even if it's their parents agree to it too, they need to be in prison.
And if you do a lot of flying, you know, I mean, like, seems like here lately there's been a lot of air disasters going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to modernize our air traffic control system.
Which hasn't been updated since the 60s or 50s.
I have no idea. I don't know about all that, but I know there's a lot of people complaining about it. The people that are actually air traffic controllers and that kind of stuff. They're saying a lot of that stuff is outdated or whatever. So they're going to modernize all their traffic control. I don't know. If other countries are using things that we're not using.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but anyway,
if we're
going to modernize it and eliminate some of these air disasters, that's cool.
Yeah, and we've had a lot going on here lately.
No tax on tips either. Tips
No,
are
yeah.
overtime.
Tips are overtime. That's awesome.
Now the last I heard, Congress passed it, and it was going to the Senate. Did the Senate do something with it,
They're
or are they
they
working on it
probably
now?
tweaked it, but I think they passed it yesterday or something, didn't they? Or not?
I think that's what you said, but I don't remember. I
So it's
didn't.
got to get by the Senate, and I don't know how much
Once
they're
it
going
get,
to tweak it. Or for some reason, I'm thinking the Senate already passed the tweaked version, and then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to try to get it all done by July 4th. I think was the next step, but the Senate has it or the Senate has passed it, and if they haven't passed it, they're still working on tweaking it to where everybody will pass it. So I don't know what they're going to take off of there.
the Social Security thing, there's not going to be. They're not doing anything with that, and you can explain that. There's some kind of law or something.
Yeah, see, what they're trying to do, and what I understand, if you're on Social Security and you're at least 65 and on Social Security, you're going to get a $4,000 tax.
Credit.
Yeah, at the end of the year, which means you'll get money back, I guess.
You
But
get that tax paid money back.
Yeah, they are trying to get no taxes, period, on Social Security, and they can do it. They just have to do it on its own. They can't include it in a.
What was that? What was that? You saying something about that yesterday. You and Debbie. It can't be on a certain bill.
Yeah, it can't be one of them combined bills where there's a bunch of stuff in it. It has to be done by itself, is what I understand. It can't be included in
Whatever the case
the
is,
big beautiful bill.
Yeah.
It's got to be its own beautiful bill. So hopefully they'll get that done. Hopefully by the end of the year for Social Security. It's just ridiculous that seniors are being taxed for money they've already been taxed.
It's already been taxed.
It's just insane. So anyway, is that it on the big beautiful bill?
That's all I got. What you got? You got anything else over?
No, that's it. It was I was gonna get everybody depressed. Dallas Stars are down 2-1. Next game tomorrow night.
They really got hammered. They won the first game,
Yeah.
and then they started out kind of sluggish and lost the second game. I understand, and then yesterday
Yesterday
they got hammered like 6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
come on, Stars, man.
So
at least make it interesting. You got to win another game.
Yeah, they're down 2-1 in the series, best of 7. So there's 4 more games. They have to win 3 of them.
Yep.
And
next game's tomorrow
Edmonton
night.
only has to win 2, so
Yep.
they need to get on the stick.
Absolutely. All right, what's next?
Anybody fan of the Duck Dynasty thing? Yeah, y'all hear about Phil Robertson? He passed away, and we knew he's been sick for 6 months or a year, maybe something like that. You know, they've been talking about him, but anyway, yesterday he passed away. I think he was 79.
Yep, incredible dude. I got to meet him once out at Texas Motor Speedway, and actually had a Bible study with him. So I thought that was just freaking awesome. It was really good.
Yeah, he was a stand-up dude, but in his past life, he was
He was rough.
He was a character, man. Anybody's ever watched that movie about him? Yeah, he didn't anything religious or anything about religion. He didn't want nothing to do with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what it was. His sister or something other said that if they could ever get him converted, he would change a lot of lives.
And he did.
So yeah, he did a lot.
And he was it Louisiana Tech where he was the first string quarterback, and
Terry Bradshaw was his backup.
Yeah, and I saw just a while ago that when he was offered to go to I forget what NFL team, he turned it down because it would interfere with his hunting.
Well, the dude lived in the woods. I mean, he'd be on a boat. He'd be in the woods somewhere hunting, whatever. And plus, he was starting to make these duck calls, trying to get that going. And
he got it going.
He got it going in a big way.
Yeah.
And so it worked out good for him, and it worked out good for Bradshaw. Bradshaw's old football. He won 4 Super Bowls, but Phil Robertson makes duck calls
Makes
and
millions and millions.
made millions of bucks doing that. So it all worked out for for both of them.
Yeah,
but
and if you've never watched the series, I mean, go start at year one and watch it. It's not what you think it is because a friend of mine, I mean, it was like pretty much there's probably 6 or 7 seasons already, and I'd seen it advertised. I'm like, I don't want to watch nothing about no ducks, you know. And buddy of mine out in Tyler said, "Man, just watch one episode, and man, you watch one, and
you're hooked.
it's good. It's
It's
really
funny
good.
show and
Yeah,
it's good show.
it's clean for the family. You don't have to worry about the kids seeing anything bad on there. It's really good. It's real good.
But I bet I don't know. I wonder about Miss K after watching the show and knowing her, knowing them two. You know,
They've been together for how many
oh
years?
God, over 50.
Jeez.
So
Yeah, that's rough.
got to be pretty rough on her. And I don't know if she's in the best of health either. So I don't, I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate, but I seemed like I'd heard something about her.
Is she what?
I don't know what it was. I'm not even gonna. I don't even know. She might be in great health as far as I know, but it seemed like I heard something that she wasn't in the best of health. And I can imagine when the man you've been married to for 50 plus years dies.
Yeah.
That's
The good thing is she has a lot of family around her.
Yeah,
How many
absolutely,
kids
and they're
does
all
she
good
have?
people.
Like 6 boys or something. 5 or 6 boys.
1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. There's Jace and Willie and Alan and what's the young one?
I forget his name, but then you also got
That's
the
4.
preacher, the oldest.
That's Alan.
Oh, is that Alan?
Yeah.
Chase, Willie,
Jace, Willie, Alan, and
the young kid.
Jeb. Probably
So 4?
Jebediah.
So 4.
So 4 boys that I know of, they were in the show, plus Uncle Si, and all them people.
Yeah.
They got she got plenty of people around her. So, how about some birthdays, man? Some
All
birthdays
right.
for some
celebrities. Well, not celebrities, from some artists. Today, go ahead, Kevin, with the first one.
Hank Jr. Anybody?
Good old
Most
Hank.
people I know who Hank Jr. is. Some of you may not, but anyway, Hank Williams Sr. Anybody know anything about him? That's his boy, Hank Jr. And he started out. When he started out, he was his mom kind of was parading him around to all these venues and stuff, and he was singing his daddy songs, and and everybody was thinking, "Oh, it's a big deal." Here's Hank Jr. He's singing all his daddy songs and all that, but
wow.
he didn't really want to sing all his daddy songs.
Yeah.
And then not long after, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe after he fell off that mountain in Montana, about died, and
I remember you saying something.
he had that's why he always wore a beard, and I think it was why he always wore
messed up his
sunglasses.
face.
Yeah, it jacked him up a little bit, but
That's why I
a
wear it.
lot. Yeah.
Fell off the cliff.
But anyway, he started singing his own stuff, and anybody knows Hank Williams Jr. knows where he went. He was all the rage back in the late '70s, early '80s, and into actually probably up to about '90 or so. But I think he still does some live shows, but you don't hear much of recording because they kind of radio stations in the way Nashville works. I don't know what after a while they just don't they don't promote your music anymore. There's guys that could have sold millions of albums or whatever if they would have just promoted them, but they're too much into the young crowd and all that, and that's the group they're listening to. But
born in '49, he's 76. I think that's what I calculated up.
Calculated.
Next we got born in 1948, Stevie Nicks. Of course, everybody knows she started out with Fleetwood Mac.
Yep.
Then I don't know what year it was she went on her own, but I actually got to, when working for Coke, we had the Coca-Cola Starplex in Dallas. I got to work a lot of concerts, and I did get to work hers, which I didn't work. We just sat there and watched the whole thing. Had to be one of the best concerts I'd ever been to. I think
she's got a phenomenal voice.
Yeah, she's awesome. So Stevie Nicks' birthday today, and then we got Lenny Kravitz, born in '64. I'm a year older than him. And
he's a combination of a lot of different genres, rock, soul, R&B.
Yeah,
he's kind of. But what'd you say about the Grammy thing?
The Grammys. He holds the record for the most Grammy awards for best male rock vocal performance from '99 2002. So he's a big deal.
From 99 to 2002?
Yeah,
Just
for
3
years he
Yeah.
holds the record for the most.
Wow.
So anyway, but he's a big deal. I mean, I know some of his songs, but I couldn't tell you what they are. You know, I mean, I've heard plenty.
I've probably heard some of them and liked some of them, but I
Yeah.
just don't. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I never bought none of his music, so I don't know. I don't know what they are. I probably heard a bunch of them
Yeah.
at one time or another. Just don't know what. Couldn't have told you who was
Yeah,
singing
I
them.
couldn't
I
either.
guess, but anywho,
We've been having some rough weather here lately.
Yeah.
A lot of storms. Electricity went out in the middle of the night. Well, early this morning, I guess you'd say. For me, it was the middle of the night.
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
yeah,
So-
at 4 o'clock, I got up to go to the bathroom and laid right back down and went to sleep again. Didn't even think about the electricity. I could cared less at 4 o'clock this morning. I just wanted to sleep. So
But if it had been hot,
if it had been hot, I'd have woke up.
Yeah.
Not have to go to the bathroom. I'd have woke up to sweat, and I would have been ticked off. There's nothing worse than waking up sweating, hot.
Yeah,
Man,
for sure.
I can get stupid at 4 o'clock in the morning. That wakes me up quicker than a tornado.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
heat.
yes.
Well, heat to me and silence. I've got. Speaking of thunder,
Thunder.
I got
thunder roll.
2 noisemakers in my bedroom. Got a fan going. I mean, seriously, people could probably break in the house, rob us, and be gone, and we'd still be asleep. We couldn't hear because it's just so loud in my room. And then the minute the electricity goes off, it just goes dead silence, and my eyes open immediately. So
I don't need anything to make me sleep, but my wife is the same way. She's got to have some noise over there.
I
She's
do
got it
too.
on her side of the bed, and I have to hear it too. So, but it does allow me to go to sleep, and I might be looking at my phone or something other. So if somebody starts talking or something like that, it drowns it out, so she can't hear that. Unless I forget to turn it down to a moderate level, because last night I went to bed and she's got her machine going on, and I looking at my phone, and all of a sudden something like a music or something started playing. It was like turned all the way up.
Wow.
What?
No,
Nothing. Go to sleep.
man.
We're good. But anywho, what else? What's happening?
Man, I think that's all I've got. Until the NFL starts, we really ain't got much to talk about as far as the NFL goes. We just got to wait and see what happens. My buddy Jeff did tell me that, what did he say? They're losing somebody. The Eagles are losing somebody, but they drafted better than Dallas. So I think the Eagles are still going to be just a freaking.
Yeah, if you lose key guys in key positions, I mean, like you can feel maybe a lineman, because as long as you got other good linemen, you can't just put together a bunk line where nobody is any good. But if you got one guy that's a rookie or whatever, and he's not up to par with the rest of the guys, the other guys can kind of cover for him. But when you start losing key positions like receiver, quarterback, you got a good cover cornerback, or a good running back or something like that. That's where you start getting hurt. And I don't know. We drafted a running back. I know a couple 3. I think in our draft. Now, I don't know
how good they are.
I don't know how good they are. I don't know nothing about them. But
he said the Eagles lost 5 starters, but picked up a few good ones at free agency and had a better grade than the Cowboys in the draft. Kellen Moore went to New Orleans, another new
offensive coordinator.
But we'll be fine. Hockey's better in person than on TV too.
That is a fact.
That is true.
That's like going to a Ranger game.
A baseball game. I won't watch.
I will not watch a baseball game on TV. It's just.
But I go to the game and I'm all in.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
So I can imagine hockey being the same way.
Yeah.
I know what little I've seen on TV, them people get rowdy at them hockey games. I mean, it's big time.
And when I was working at Coke, I did work the Stars games, Cowboys, and at the Cowboys games, you could always find a seat and sit down and watch it that nobody was sitting in, But at the Stars games, I would go get everything up and running for Coke, and then when the game started, I tried to go into that reunion when they were in reunion back then, Kevin.
Yeah.
Try to find me somewhere to sit.
Nowhere.
Couldn't find a place to sit. The place is packed. People are standing up. I mean, it's packed house. So I just leave and go to the movies. So.
One other thing, the Indianapolis 500 happened yesterday. Alex Palou
That's right.
won the Indianapolis 500. He's been I think, he was like the Open or IndyCar champion 3 different times, but he'd never won the Indianapolis 500 until yesterday. So shout out to that dude.
Did we know?
I don't know.
He's on.
He was. I don't know who he drove for.
Yeah, we're not really into the open wheel. Really, we're more NASCAR, and I'm really just the super speedways is what I like to watch.
But he did. And Kyle Larson raced yesterday. He finished 37th, which Kyle Larson's he's like number 1 in NASCAR, but he went and ran the
and a lot
Indy
of them do that. A lot of the NASCAR drivers will go test themselves out on that open.
Well, a bunch of them are like come from dirt anyway. Like Tony Stewart and some of them guys, man, they're big timing into them midget dirt cars or whatever they call them. They're like crazy fast on a little short half-mile track or less.
Yeah.
I mean, they're big just time. Wide open, 150 miles an hour. Kind of like the World Outlaws. I don't know if you ever seen them. Used to run at Devil's Bowl.
Yes, I used to go to Devil's Bowl. My dad took us there all the time growing up.
Really?
We loved it. Yeah, you could hear it from our house in Forney, too.
Well, Devil's Bowl, man. Them dudes, when the World Outlaws, because they'd have the regular cars out there, the guys that worked all week and then went out there on the weekend and raced.
Yeah.
And it was fun to go watch them.
Oh, Bobby Bells used to race up.
Did he?
Yeah.
But when the World Outlaws showed up, and those midgets, they
packed the house.
Yes, and them guys, they're
professionals.
When they went around that track, dude, you couldn't hear them let up.
No,
they went into the corner they slid all the way around the corner, and then a little bit of straight and slide all the way around the corner. It was like they're riding on ice the whole time. They knew how to drive them. Boy, it was fun to watch them too. But
that was, and you think about that. Growing up in Forney, we were really lucky to have a racetrack that close. Didn't Crandall have the Thunderbird?
Thunderbird Speedway.
And did you ever go? I never went to that.
Yeah, we went to. That was kind of like if we wasn't at a rodeo. A lot of times we'd go to the races because it was just me and 2 or 3 other guys or whatever, 4 or 5 other guys or whatever. We'd all just go out to the races.
Wow,
a lot of fun. So I was either at a rodeo or probably at the racetrack. Could have been there, Spent more time at the rodeo arena, though.
When does fantasy football kick off? When the NFL starts? Preseason or
regular season? Whatever that Cowboy game is, that Thursday night.
That's when it starts.
The Sunday before that is our draft.
Okay, cool.
Or Saturday or whatever day we do.
Any PBR updates for Daryl?
Sorry, Daryl, I ain't got nothing this week. I know teams are starting probably here in the next week or 2, but that's all I can
hang in there, Daryl.
It's coming back.
One more week, and you'll be informed of what's going on. I guess
they had the PBR draft the other night.
Oh, for the teams?
Yeah.
We'll bring that to them on the
next one. I can't tell you much about the guys that were drafted because I think a lot of them were some PRCA guys, and a lot of them were from Brazil. They did a boot camp kind of thing in Brazil, looking for talent over there, and Australia and
Brazil's where 75% of the
I think 40% of PBR, 40%, so close to half.
Yeah.
So you got half of it is U.S. and the other half when you figure Brazil and Australia and other countries or whatever that might be in there. So
hang in there, Daryl.
Anywho,
also I want to shout out again to all the women who've given their life to military service, who died in the military. Thank you guys for everything.
For sure. That's
can't
even imagine it.
That's the reason we're sitting here. What would we speak in German if we wouldn't know?
Supposedly, if we didn't win World War II, we'd all be speaking German right now.
So, if any of you people lost a family member, just really appreciate the sacrifice everybody made so we can sit here and live our lives like we want to.
Have you ever had anybody in the military that died, like in combat or in service or whatever?
Not, I'll tell you this. Speaking of my buddy Barley, Jeff Barley, who's the Eagles fan that you hate, his dad. This was back in 1979. Was when I met him, and his dad was killed in some war. I don't know which one is, but the picture of him was on the wall all the time. But he lost his dad when he was a kid to one of the wars.
Probably Vietnam.
Probably, I don't know.
It was back in the late 60s and early
Yeah.
70s.
I'm sure. Hey, Jeff, I know you're going to watch this. Comment down at the bottom and let us know about your pops.
Sorry it happened, brother.
Yeah. We had a good time. His mom was killer. His mom's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Cool. I've got family members that have passed on, but they weren't, and they were in the military. But
it
I got
wasn't from
one
the
uncle,
military?
right? Yeah, I got an
Yeah.
uncle. He was in Vietnam, and he passed away several years ago.
My granddad was in the Navy, and my uncle was in the Navy, but none of them died in service.
Got a friend of ours that went to high school with us. He was in the Marines.
Yeah.
My son-in-law, he spent 20 years in the Navy.
Yeah. Just up
Just got
until a
out.
week ago or 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
he was officially a
years.
Navy guy, but he
Yeah.
got his 20 years in, and he's back in Texas. So, to all veterans,
Appreciate it.
thank you very much, and to those that gave the ultimate sacrifice,
Thank the family.
you'll never know how much it's appreciated.
No,
and,
you won't.
You know, maybe
Especially for those of us who love this country.
exactly.
All right, Kevin, you want to do the
Like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little bell. You know, that
yeah.
way you'll know something's happening over here.
ring a ding?
And comment. Keep them comments coming.
Yeah, appreciate all y'all who are commenting. We really appreciate it.
Exactly. And
I don't have anything for the ladies this week. I'll work on that.
you only take them off so much. You got to let it die down for a while.
Well, I'm thinking they're sitting there just waiting for me to tell them something to do to make their husband happy. So I might be letting them down by not telling them anything. So I apologize for that.
We'll come back with something.
Yes, sir. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I'm Casey.
I'm Kevin.
Peace.
Adios.